Good morning, guys. How are we all doing? Dan from Trading with Dan here. This is our Bitcoin morning update. If you guys wouldn't mind smashing that like button, we will go straight over to those charts. So yeah, Bitcoin on the daily. Here's the daily 9, the acceleration into the 9. I think in last night's video, I was saying as we were starting to get the move up, I was saying that looks like we're obviously going to have to test this 11,500, but watch for it to get front ran. And yeah, I mean we got front ran, we got just over 11,400. But yeah, didn't quite make that 11,500 because that obviously was a massive target that on that big extension on the daily candle. I mean, realistically, let's talk realistically, that was going to be where a lot of people were definitely going to take profit. It was a very logical target, and you didn't want to be left holding your bag when we got slammed down. So some people obviously started piling in as soon as we got over 10,400. So $100 away from that target. So anyway, we've got the daily 9. So what now guys? So I mean, the same thing I said in last night's video. I'm sort of expecting us to well, the best level for us to get supported at is this 10,500 area and play out this range. But if we have to test the top of the triangle, then around 10,000, then so be it. But I think that's a little aggressive, and I don't think that's a likely scenario. I did say last night that breaking above these levels here is clearly more important than actually breaking out this massive triangle. And this massive triangle is important, but clearly for the macro, the overall, the bigger trend, these levels are more important. Therefore, this level is more important. Therefore, the 10,500 is the main level that needs to get back tested. And when you back test something, you don't really want to break it. So back testing this less important level would, by extension, mean we've broken this level, which is obviously more important. So that's what I'm expecting. But does it have to? Does it have to play out that way? I mean, Bitcoin can definitely surprise a lot of people, as you can see. A lot of people may have been surprised by this move. All that really surprises me in Bitcoin is not the moves, but how quickly it does the move. So it's not really. It's still a relatively predictable asset to predict. It's still a relatively okay asset to predict. It just does things in just crazy time scales. So that's just one thing you need to understand about Bitcoin, is that it can just really just get into high gear and start doing moves that you just don't necessarily expect. But if you are watching volatility trends, you obviously know to potentially expect that. There are obviously ways that you can really be aware of that element of Bitcoin. So yeah, realistically though, we are looking at we've got to be looking at consolidation here. I believe in a few days, 3 or 4 days, the end of the week, I'll be saying what a perfect trade: buy 9 to sell 9, and then we had some consolidation. Often with big moves, you will come back to test the midpoint. That is obviously roughly looking around 10k, but like I said, realistically we want to get supported around this 11,500. But if we get, I mean, we're gonna have to watch this with, well, basically obviously we're gonna have to watch how it develops. But if we start to stick around the bottom of this level, around the 10,500, and don't like play out the top of the range also, or even consolidate at the top, then we may be looking to actually come down to test the 10k. But we'll have to see that in real time. And that won't be the end of the world. That'll obviously be the end of the world for a lot of over-leveraged people. But it won't be the end of the world. And realistically, I mean, yeah, we can test the top of that trend line. We can even, guys, come back and test this trend line here. So don't rule that out. Don't rule anything out in Bitcoin. And then also, I mean, we know Bitcoin, anything can happen on a wick basis. On a wick basis, basically, this Bitcoin market is insane. So yeah, we've got to be aware of that fact. But yeah, I mean, obviously everything is looking bullish, but in a bull market, especially in Bitcoin, you will get a lot of long liquidations. A lot of people taking long positions just due to the increased volatility, and the pullbacks will get liquidated. I actually got liquidated on a pullback, on this pullback here. That's a weekly, mate. Actually, I think it was a more crazier daily one. When we had the crazy move down. Yeah, this one here. I just got liquidated in a position on here. What actually happened was I was in a long trade and I had basically some take profit orders well under the market, and then I actually made the mistake of taking some of the position off at this daily 9, but I forgot to remove some take profit orders I had quite low. So those take profit orders got filled and put me net long after obviously I'd hit my trading stop. It put me net long, and that net long then got liquidated down here. It's not even funny, but my point is, you get these moves in bull markets, and lots of longs get liquidated, and I can tell you that from personal experience. Right, so over to the weekly again. Let's find. Where's she gone? Where's Bitcoin? There she is. Weekly, clearly you can see looking very much like an ascending triangle here. This very much looking like that inverse head and shoulders that I was saying. Yeah, maybe we don't have to come down this far. I was talking about this a couple of days ago, but yeah, looking like an inverse head and shoulders. I mean, just we are breaking the neckline of this now. So I mean, closes weekly up here in this zone. Yeah, guys. Well, yeah. 20k Bitcoin. Here we come. A lot of this will depend on the dollar. The dollar will. Well, this is how markets will work. You'll get your trend, you'll get your momentum, and then you'll have other things that sort of facilitate or slow down that trend. So that will act as a headwind or a tailwind. So when you are moving in one direction, the tailwind obviously moves you higher, and then when that other input is a headwind, it then will sort of consolidate or not move you down as much, and then it will sort of like a ratchet effect, like a ratchet. Basically, you turn it and then it clamps down, and then when you don't do anything, it stays where it is. So that's kind of what we may see with the dollar. We may still get dollar strength, but also do not forget, right? Do not forget. This is calculated against other currencies, and just because other currencies, mainly the euro, is mainly against the euro, just if the euro starts to weaken, the dollar index goes up, that does not mean that fiat currency is back. Fiat currency is trash and toilet paper and is done. It will just be moving relative to other fiat currency. Doesn't have to be moving relative to other assets, such as gold, silver, Bitcoin, even stocks, even stocks basically. Stocks are real assets. They're part of real companies. They may be over or undervalued, however you want to view that. I mean, I've got my views. We've all got our views, but nonetheless, it is part of a company, which is a real thing. Obviously, this fake fictitious thing that they try to call money that isn't money is basically just anyway, you get my point. The dollar index can go up, and it's going up against other crappy currencies, not necessarily up against real assets. Right, so let's have a look at the shorter term time frame. I mean, the shorter term time frames are obviously not going to be as relevant. Well, I say they're not going to be as relevant. I mean, we kind of know what we're looking for. We're looking for a move down. We're looking for a move down either to test this or test here. I mean, we've got the sell 9 on the 4 hour, but I mean, like, obviously we've got we've got the biggest daily 9 candle we've seen in a while. So don't really look to this to then drive price down, because we've already moved down from that anyway. So I wouldn't look too much into the 4 hour. I mean, I wouldn't even bother looking at the 4 hour Stokes, but obviously they're going to be moving down now. Trend line's holding quite nicely there or thereabouts. It will never be perfect in the stochastics, especially towards the top of the trend line. But yeah, I mean, I would suspect we'd lose this trend line and come down a bit and test some downside. 12 hour Stokes, yeah, I mean, it's jammed up there, look, but it's at the moment it's looking like it may want to come down, and daily has turned down. And let's have a look at the 3-day. I mean, 3-day still really strong, but that's a 3-day. So the 3-day turned up when Bitcoin was still messing around down in the 9,000s, the low 9,000s. So yeah, I would watch for downside. I mean, I've already said it, I guess, haven't I? I mean, and then that's the downside anyway. We have now got a good level to buy. It's basically above this zone. I mean, there will be lots of probably wicks and movements and fake outs if we get up here. I mean, it's a perfect time to have to basically smash market. Not financial advice, guys. But perfect time to smash market orders with tight stops, with big profits of like a good couple of $100, $300 moves, taking profits on the way, but with like say $50 stops, just hit mark, just basically have these triggers, these market order, stop order buys in this zone. Not a fight. That was very specific thing to say, but still, it's not a financial advice. It's just something that I will be doing. But yeah, overall, not really much else to say, guys. I mean, we've had a big move. We've got to digest this move. We've got to potentially test some downside, potentially here, maybe even here. On the basis, like I've just told you, Bitcoin can do whatever and surprise people, maybe even down here, because obviously that will liquidate a lot of people, FOMO a lot of people in short, and will create the liquidity, right? I am still fully of the mind that the whales were gunning for this 8,600 level for some nice sweet liquidity and fill their bags before this move. And then I was telling you all along that's what they were doing. I was telling you when they were losing control of it and when they were going to have to flip to buy. I was telling you once they did that, it would accelerate to the upside. All of that happened. So I still believe that narrative, and these whales still want to get their bags filled of cheap Bitcoin. And this isn't them necessarily buying. This is them just taking their foot off the selling gas, like I told you was the first thing they'll do. But I personally believe, whether they'll achieve it or not, because like they didn't like what I believed they were trying to do here, didn't achieve it. What I still believe they can do that sub 10k. So they can push us sub 10k, get us down to 9.5, and that'll be as good as that in the context of what's now happened. That is good. That is, and in the context of where the dollar is, that is good enough to be an equivalent of an 8,600 push below. So fills in between the 8,000 and 8,600. So be aware of that. Be aware of that, guys. Be very aware. And in bull markets, you get massive wicks down. You'll get liquidations. I mean, you just get high volatility. That's what you get. So that's it, guys. Remember, none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Yeah, Bitcoin looking fun. Bitcoin looking interesting now. Bitcoin looking good. So yeah, always do your own research. And I will speak to you guys later today.